Hello guys, welcome back, and this is Glen again, and please subscribe, please. And now in this tutorial we're going to be talking about functions. How do you define a function? So a function is a block of code that does a specific or particular implementation within itself and then returns a value, or maybe it's a void, or it just does some functionality in the. So it's a block of code that does some specific functionality, some specific task. And so in this tutorial we're gonna be talking about how you define a function in Python. So we're gonna be using this keyword called def here. So def is the keyword that you use to declare a function, and then after that you will put the function name here, and what you do, put the curly braces. If you want to specify any arguments within the function, a function typically receives an argument. Say that it's going to receive a void value, nothing there, or you're going to specify that it's going to receive something from input and then return it. So in this case, we'll start off with no value at all. So this function is going to return a statement, maybe something like word. All right, retain. We don't necessarily want to return here because there's nothing to return. It's not returning any value. So we're just gonna print here. Say we are in a function. So what do you typically do with function? After declaring a function, you have to call it in order to use it. So underneath here, we're gonna say function name. But before we do that, you see there's a compilation error here, and it's going to say, please ignore error like this. No, please. What it means is that Python just doesn't do with this naming space of camel casing of Java, so it's just gonna lower everything. So we just push this, and then the error is gone. So we're just gonna say function name, and when we run the function, we're in a function, we're retrieving. That's what it does. So this block of code is contained with this function, so a functionality that can be shared around other functions. Let me show you how you can do that, sharing this function. So we're going to declare another function. So then sharing, and it receives nothing again, and this function is just gonna call the function name, and later on we're just gonna remove this, and then we're gonna call it. We're gonna call the sharing function, and now you will see that if we invoke the sharing function, it's gonna call again this function. So now the functionality is shared among us. So we are in function again. So for you to note the difference, we're in function through sharing, so that you note the difference that we are actually calling it. So if you run, we're in a function through sharing, and that's all like function. So let's talk about how functions can receive values and return values. So we're gonna say def here, let's say total. We are calculating the total here, so we're gonna say the value here. There's gonna be a double, of course. Let's just name it dd so that you know it's a double value or float value. So what we're gonna do is we have a total variable here, and it's gonna be equal to total that is currently there plus the dd. And of course we need to initialize this space to 0 so that before we can increment like we're doing right here. And then what we're gonna be doing next is we're gonna be doing some calculation. Of course, the last time you remember that a double value will be cut off here because we are implementing with an int, so we're just gonna cast it to a float here. And what you're gonna be doing is we're gonna return the total. Actually, return total. Yeah, I'm gonna return the total so that the users can know what it is they need. So what we need to do next is call this in a function. Let's just print it. Maybe let's just print total and then put our double value here, 12.0, and then we run our program, and you see 12.0. So what happened is it just retained 12.0 alone because we did not even specify more arguments. So that's why you want to use something more of like a loop or something. So we're gonna say